Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
Scandal and drama has gotten so bad at the University of Michigan, it could push athletic director Warde Manuel out the door. Also, the NFL could be getting back to the ground game in a way we haven't seen in 20 years. And the criticisms that follow Jordan Love somehow don't apply to other NFL quarterbacks. It just doesn't make sense. I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
A major shakeup could be coming at the University of Michigan, where athletic director Warde Manuel's future is suddenly hanging in the balance. Locked On Wolverines host Isaiah Hull broke down the conflicting reports surrounding Manuel, the scandals and leadership questions fueling that uncertainty, and what Michigan may need from its next athletic director if the school decides to make a change.
So we are going to get into all of it. In case you've been sitting under a rock, my phone was blowing up yesterday. I was trying to take the weekend off, and I was getting texts from a lot of you. What's going on with Warde Manuel? Is he gone? Is he gone? I mean, I when I say a lot of you, I mean the people who have my number. I had some national people reaching out to me, names that all of you know. And I'm going to start off by saying I don't know. So I eventually reached out to my source that would know exactly what is going on. My main source for something like this that is not Warde Manuel. And I did not, I was left unread, just FYI. So, or unread. I don't know if it was read or not. It did not get replied to. So I am telling you that only to tell you I do not know. But there obviously is something that has seemed like it might be going on here. And I've got some things that we're going to talk about here. Some different reporting. It's kind of all over the place. So first and foremost, I will say that I had people sending me Justin Spiro saying he was fired. No, and that's no good way to start. That's just not like, come on. What are we doing here? Like, is this, and these are like people that I respect that are sending me. They're not national people, but like, it's just like, what are we doing here? Like I don't have words for that. I don't. Who I do have words for in a positive way, 99.9% of the time is John U. Bacon. And John U. Bacon put this out there yesterday. He said, others have reported what I have waited for my sources to confirm. Michigan is preparing a buyout for AD Warde Manuel, which he is expected to accept. Some version of the investigation Michigan commissioned into the department is likely to be released by the end of the week, too. ESPN reported, hey, there's like his fate's probably likely to be decided on Thursday. The regents are meeting. It looks like the meeting is for this. It's to discuss this thing that was commissioned by Jenner and Block, that whole thing. And now he's in some deep trouble. I mean, I'm insinuating some things that weren't in there. Let's just be clear. But like just acting, like, okay, yep, here we go. Let's go. That was all last night. Was just this, something's happening. Okay, like, nope, now something's really happening. This person's saying this, this person's saying this, this person's saying this. And then you get into Ross Dellinger this morning, who posts, reached for comment Monday. Warde Manuel told Yahoo Sports, the president and I have had several great conversations over the past couple of days. There are no plans for me to not continue to be the athletic director for the near future. For the near futures, note that. I mean, you would assume he doesn't mean like, near future, 3 days. You don't expect that to be the case. But at the same time, that kind of flies in the face of buyouts are being prepared. Ward's going to sign, all of that type of stuff. Aaron McMahon from MLive posts, Warde Manuel in Michigan, the agenda for Thursday's Board of Regents meeting in Traverse City is out, and there is no mention of the external athletic department investigation or the AD. He clarified after and said, doesn't mean they can't talk about either of those things, but it is not on the official agenda, and he posted the link to it. So that is a lot of things that don't exactly line up like puzzle pieces here. So this is why I sometimes don't want to rush to get into some of these things. And like I've been on record, and I think a lot of you miscategorize a lot of what I've said and just try to make me, like, again, Ward is someone I have been friends with. That does not mean that I have not come on this show and said, I do not see how he survives just the constant barrage of different things that have happened under his tenure. I mean, it's been a lot. Whether he is responsible for them or not, at some point you can look at it and say, like, enough is enough with just scandal after scandal. Now, I think a lot of you, yes, Michigan fans, I think a lot of you really want to, like, you want so bad to be liked by everybody. And those are those of you who are the Connor Stallions, anti-Connor Stallions ones, right? Like the ones who are, I'm not saying like you have to be a fan of Connor, but like those who are, well, he definitely, did something super wrong and we deserve to be punished and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm using that as a barometer because you're buying into a lot of the way it was posited in the national media and by rivals. When if you've been watching or listening to this show, you just know a lot of that is just bunk. And you know why I know that. Okay. So that's kind of a good barometer to kind of tell where a lot of you are. That said, I mean, I can say this about like some of the things Ward's done have not been great. We had a whole segment or show, I don't remember which, a couple weeks ago about me saying, like, I think it's absurd to start like really like, hey, we're going to start putting ads in the big house and jersey patches and all of that stuff. Like, you don't need to do that. Those things, I mean, maybe not the jersey patches, but certainly the ads in the big house. I mean, there's ads in every other stadium. You didn't have to, you don't have to do that. So I think that's a bad move. I think that the Mel Pearson thing was a bad move. I think with Connor, the fact that the AD, and I don't blame Ward directly for this, but the AD let Connor walk out of the building without knowing at all what was going on, leaving them completely blind and having to trust on the nefarious reporting. I think that was a massive mistake. Mistakes have been made, right? But like, there have been successes, phenomenal fundraising from both just the traditional fundraising and the NIL aspect. Yes, slow-footed on NIL. You have to understand, like, you can't revisionist history it and act like everyone knew that it was just going to be here to stay exactly as it is, right? Like, Michigan was trying to do things in a way that wasn't going to get them SMU'd.
Stay up to date all year on the University of Michigan by subscribing to Locked On Wolverines on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. You're Locked On Sports Today. Coming up, the ground game could be back in the NFL. Before we get to that, Stefon Diggs says he's still an elite wide receiver, just in a specific context. The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has the potential for a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of a game, shift momentum, and alter the outcome in an instant. That's what makes tournament soccer so exciting, from the opening whistle to the final kick. Now, FanDuel is giving fans another reason to stay locked into every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goal means more bonus bets. All you have to do is turn on your token. We've all seen those matches where it's scoreless for what feels like forever, and then one goal completely flips the game. Suddenly everyone's pressing, the crowd comes alive, and the final 20 minutes becomes must-watch television. And now you get the benefit from every goal scored. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. With training camp just weeks away, the question is less whether Diggs can still play and more whether a team is willing to pay him like the best second option in football. For now, he's betting somebody eventually looks at their depth chart and agrees with it. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks are changing hands, and apparently winning a Super Bowl is pretty good for business. A group led by Vinod Khosla has agreed to pay the franchise a reported $9.6 billion, which would set an NFL record if the deal is approved. The Seahawks have been controlled by Paul Allen's estate since his death in 2018, with the sale proceeds ultimately designated for charity. Khosla will have to give up his stake in the rival 49ers, but he'll take over a franchise coming off a championship, playing in one of the league's loudest stadiums, and valued at nearly $10 billion. Not bad for a team Paul Allen bought in the 1990s, largely to keep it from just leaving town. Maybe invest in some Saints stock or hold on to whatever little you have, because New Orleans is feeling pretty good about themselves with the season drawing closer.
The NFC South is such a toss-up to me. It is such a toss-up. It is. The team that I think honestly might be the most sneaky of them all is the New Orleans Saints. I mean, I genuinely do. Tyler Shuck year 2, you add Jordan Tyson, Chris Olave, Travis Etienne is there now alongside Alvin Kamara. I mean, I think that team is really exciting.
The running game could be ready for a full-scale comeback in 2026, with the NFL potentially producing 20 different 1,000-yard rushers for the first time in 2 decades. Locked On NFL scouting host Joe Marino and Kyle Krabs broke down which backfields are best positioned to get there, the runners with breakout potential, and whether this season could mark a true rushing revolution.
Yes, we're going to do the thing courtesy of this one from Nick, who says, with the emphasis on blocking tight ends drafted this year, the NFL will have the first season of more than 21,000-yard rushers since 2006.
More than 20.
I know you're wondering, how many did we have last year? We had 17. And we had another one at 975, another one at 958, another one at 929, another one at 911. So we certainly flirted with this. And actually, Quinshon Judkins at 827, and he missed the last 3 games of the year, with that injury. So we certainly flirted with this last year. And so there's only one way to answer the question, Kyle. You know what it is.
Got to do the thing.
You got to do the thing. So we're going to do the thing. I have everything in front of me to navigate us through this conversation. Let's see how many we get. We'll start with the AFC East. James Cook, 1,000 yards.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Devon Achane, 1,000 yards.
Health willing, yes.
Yeah, I think so. Probably could be a career high for him this year with rushing yards.
They are going to feed him the football.
All right. The New England Patriots. They have Ramondre Stevenson, of course, TreVeyon Henderson. TreVeyon Henderson had a big surge last year, 9-11.
Yeah, but he also was relying on a few very long, explosive runs that he's very capable of hitting. But what makes me leery about New England is they do have 2 very capable backs that I think have a chance to split that workload pretty evenly.
Right. And Sean McDermott's no longer the head coach of the Bills. So that some of those, some of those
your numbers rushing as a Bills.
Right. Keep that in mind for Devon Achane as well.
6.5-man boxes instead of 5-man boxes now.
Hey, these 5-man fronts, no one's going to know what to do with them, So I think no. And here's why I'm going to say no on this is because I think, they invested in A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs. They didn't do that because they're not going to throw the ball with Drake May. I'm going to say
Drake
no
May
on
can
this.
run the football with his legs as well.
I think those guys will be productive, but I don't think either one tops 1,000, just like they didn't last year. All right, so that gets us to the Jets and Breece Hall, who barely got 1,000 yards last year and then got a big old contract.
Probably.
He should, right? Like the strength of that team is the O-line.
They get a good young offensive line. They're more competent. Do you know how many yards, how many net passing yards the Jets had last season per game?
Bro, I used to watch him with Brady Cook there at the end of the season. It was tough to watch.
It was give me a number. Net passing yards. So yards plus sack yardage. For the season.
Guess
for a 17.
It's got to be around 3,000 yards, right?
No, it's not even close. It was like 2385.
That's pretty terrible.
It's 140 net passing yards a game in the year 2025. So if you have any level of competency, it was 4.3 net yards per attempt.
Yeah, it's bad. That's bad rushing numbers, right?
They averaged 3/10 more running the ball than they did net yards per attempt passing the ball. I'm going to say with some competency in the passing game, even if they end up passing the ball a little bit more, I'm going to say yes on Breece Hall.
I'm with you. So we have 3 in the AFC East. All right. AFC North, Derrick Henry. Yes. Easy yes.
4.
Chase Brown with the Bengals.
Close last year, was he not?
1,019. So he hit it.
I mean, if he hit it last year, we should probably say yes. 5. It's not like they didn't miss anything else in the running game because they don't really care about running the ball. They come out.
Yeah,
they're going to come out and throw the ball 650 times.
If he stays healthy, I think he'll do it. So we'll say yes there. That gets us to 4, right?
That's 5.
5.
We had 3 in the AFC East. Now we have 2 in the AFC North.
Draft dudes do math. All right. Quinshaw Junkins. Yes. With that offensive line upgrade.
Yes.
And Quinshaw Junkins' skill set. 6. Jalen Warren.
Probably not.
I'm saying no here. Rico Dowdle, like low key, don't forget he was added to this team.
Mm-hmm. And that even makes the split. And I think Warren's better in a third down role anyway.
Yeah. So
6.
We're at 6 through 2 divisions. The AFC South, David Montgomery, Woody Marks.
No.
I'm out. The Colts, Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, 7.
Yes. The Jaguars, new situation here with Bashal Tutin expected to take over as their lead back.
But they got some depth, do they not?
Chris Rodriguez and LaQuint Allen.
Yeah, like all. It's not like there's a guy that's like head and shoulders invested in above, and you know they want to be physical and run the ball. I'm a little that might be a 3-man target or carry workload where everybody's between 200 and 150 carries.
Travis Etienne had 260 carries for them last year.
Yeah, I know they want to run the ball. I'm just worried if they're going to give all the carries to one guy.
If Tutin doesn't fumble the ball, I think he winds up pushing for 250 carries. I'm in on it.
If that's the case, then I would agree that he gets it. So we're going to say yes on somebody in Jacksonville's backfield, presumably Bashal Tutin, who I really like, but the ball security stuff's a big question.
How many does that put us at?
8.
8.
And we need the Titans.
Tony Pollard.
Yes.
9. All right. The AFC West, J.K. Dobbins.
The health's a big question there.
Yeah. And 2 recent draft picks in Harvey and Coleman. Coleman's a 4th-round pick this year. Dobbins is always hurt. I think he's going to get a ton, but I'm nervous.
Yeah, I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. I think the rushing offense will be fine. I just don't think it's defined by a 1,000-yard rusher.
Correct.
This one's fun. Ken Walker with the Chiefs.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, they paid him $13.5 million a season. They're gonna find a way to give him 225 carries this year.
I would think that gets us to what?
10.
Thank you for keeping track. Ashton Genty with the Raiders.
Yes.
We're
not going to average 3.8 yards a carry for our entire career. They'll be better offensively.
So that's 11?
Yeah, it's 11.
Omarion Hampton.
Somebody in the Chargers backfield will get 1,000 yards.
Okay. 12?
It's 12.
Time for the NFC. Javonte Williams.
I don't know. We just said Dak's going to throw for 5,000 yards last Friday.
Well, they still had 250 carries for Javonte last year, 1,200 yards with him, but Dak throwing 600 times.
It's a good offensive line situation. I'll say yes.
I'm in as well.
13.
Cam Scatabo.
No.
Nobody with the Giants. Saquon Barkley.
Yes. You know that one guy's going to be so mad how fast we just skimmed over Cam Scatabo.
It's okay. Sun will rise tomorrow morning. We'll be all right. The Washington situation with Bill Krosky, Merritt, and Rashad White.
You might have a better chance that Jaden Daniels gets it.
Jaden Daniels. Yeah. I don't think we get it in Washington.
I'll say no.
All right. Where are we at?
14.
DeAndre Swift.
Probably.
I know Kyle Monangai got a decent. He had 783 yards on 169 rushes.
Our king. This is, I think, that the third time in the last 4 times we've recorded that we've talked about Kyle Monangai. DeAndre
Swift barely got it on 223 carries. Could Kyle Monangai eat into even more of that?
Yes, he could. I think that's the spirit of Ben's take last week that they would be in the market for a trade.
Stay up to date all year on the NFL by subscribing to Locked On NFL and Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes on your favorite podcast app. Coming up, online discourse surrounding Jordan Love is inconsistent. and in times just flat out wrong. The NFL released a list, one of many lists this offseason, but this one happens to poll executives, scouts, coaches on the best players at each position. And this ranking was the quarterbacks. Jordan Love, fresh off his best season in the NFL, failed to make the top 10. And what I find so fascinating about this and so frustrating is the critiques, the criticisms of Jordan Love that stick to him don't seem to stick to other quarterbacks. If we're going to play the game and say, well, Jordan Love isn't an elite quarterback, isn't a top 10 quarterback because, then the rules have to apply to everyone. And so, okay, let's take the criticisms that he hasn't won in the playoffs, coming off of a 21-3 collapse at the hands of the Chicago Bears, 25 fourth quarter points. Jordan Love had over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game. His kicker cost his team 7 points. Let's look at Justin Herbert, who on his resume has a slew of embarrassing defeats, including a 27-point collapse against the Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the worst come from ahead losses in playoff history. Why does it stick to Jordan Love? But with Justin Herbert, it's, well, let's just wait till next year. Oh, we can't talk about the fact that that playoff game, the Packers didn't have Micah Parsons or Tucker Kraft or Devontae Wyatt or their best offensive lineman. No. But for Justin Herbert, it's they didn't have Rashawn Slater. They didn't have Joe Alt. And so it can't be held against him that that offense was not very good last year. No, can't do it. Oh, well, Jared Goff, he's just a winner. Meanwhile, Jordan Love is a product of Matt LaFleur, except Sean McVay, the best coach in the NFL, decided I can't win with that guy. Then Jared Goff goes to Detroit. They don't win. Ben Johnson takes over. And all of a sudden, the offense looks different. Let's never mind the fact that in the same survey of NFL executive coaches and decision makers, Penei Sewell was ranked as the best tackle in the league. Sam Laporta was a top 5 tight end. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a top 5 receiver. He's got all the help in the world. They're a very good offense. And by the way, Jared Goff blew a double-digit lead in the NFC Championship game, and then at home, a 15-win Detroit Lions team spits the bit because Jared Goff can't stop turning the ball over against the Washington Commanders, over whom the Lions were considerable favorites at home. Then Ben Johnson, the savant, leaves, and guess what happens? The Detroit Lions miss the playoffs, and they got eliminated from the playoffs against a Minnesota Vikings team quarterbacked by Max Brosmer. I guess he's not a winner. I guess he's not a winner when he doesn't have one of the best play callers and elite guys around him. I guess he's not a winner. Dak Prescott landed in the top 8. A guy famous, or perhaps infamous, for not producing in big moments. In fact, Jordan Love went into Dak Prescott's house and beat the brakes off the Cowboys when the Cowboys were 7-point favorites at home with a top 10 defense. Jordan Love had a perfect passer rating late into the fourth quarter of that game. And the Packers had the youngest team in NFL history to win a playoff game against Dak Prescott, a guy who has no track record of success in big games. And his only playoff success came at the hands of the corpse of Tom Brady and the zombie Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the only great playoff game Dak Prescott has ever had. He has a longer track record of being bad in big games and being bad in the playoffs, including particularly inauspicious moments like the clock running out on him against the 49ers at home. Why are the criticisms that stick to Jordan Love, despite the fact that if you look at, since he's been the quarterback, only Josh Allen has a better EPA per play than he does? despite the fact that this has been a top 10 offense every year with receivers that no one would draft in the first 5 rounds of fantasy football, despite the fact that they've not had elite offensive line play, all he does is produce. Oh, they've been the 7 seed 2 years in a row and lost in the first round of the playoffs. You know who hasn't been in the playoffs 2 years in a row? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Still living off a Super Bowl run 5 years ago. You know whose team didn't make the playoffs last year? Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. And this idea that he is some turnover-prone quarterback, Jordan Love had a lower interception rate than 8 of the 10 quarterbacks who made the top 10. I'm not here to argue Jordan Love is a top 5 quarterback, though he was last year, by whatever metric you want to look at. But I am here to argue that it doesn't make sense to hold Jordan Love to a standard to which no one else is held. And finally, the women's NCAA tournament is making a pretty simple change. Seed the best teams where they actually belong. Beginning next year, the top 16 teams will be placed in the bracket based on their true rankings, even if that means conference rivals land in the same region. In the past, the committee would move teams around to avoid early matchups between the top 4 teams from one league, something that mostly affected conferences like the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12. Now, if you are on the number 5 overall seed, you stay number 5. It may create a few more uncomfortable rematches in March, but at least the brackets will finally stop pretending conference affiliation matters more than your resume. Coming up, a little home run derby and all-star action to keep us entertained in between NBA Summer League action. So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.